Hello, everybody. Mike Caluzzi here. I am the host of ProTips to Grow Your Biz Podcast. I'm a business coach, entrepreneur, and attorney who works with service-based professionals and entrepreneurs to eliminate overwhelm and frustration to grow their business with clarity and confidence. You can find me at MikeCaluzzi.com, COLUZZI, or send me an email at mike@mikecaluzzi.com. And from there, we could schedule a free consult. I would absolutely love to talk to you and see how I could assist you in your business. Today, I am very happy to have Olga Nesterova on the podcast. Olga is the founder of Onest Network. It's a global television network that will be premiering in the US and 20 other countries in July 2022. It will have access to over 80% of the TV streaming app market, and it will have a worldwide audience of 110 million people. So that is a lot of eyeballs, people. Olga is an extremely dynamic person. She's a former UN diplomat turned entrepreneur, has previously run a multi-state entertainment company producing halftime shows for the NBA, NHL, and the WNBA. Olga has also founded a reputable B2B marketing agency working with Fortune 500 companies in New York City and beyond. Olga hosts Honest Conversations podcast and has been featured on various shows and national television. She's witty, straightforward, wise, and very easy to connect with. So Olga, with that said, and that amazing intro, welcome.
Thank you so much. What an introduction. I'm always worried that my head will just grow that big that I can't wear any hat, but I'm so appreciative of this invitation to be here, to spend this time with you, to bring value to your listeners and watchers. And it's such an honor to be talking to you. So I'm your fan. That's how we start.
Well, thank you. And it's a pleasure. And I really appreciate it. Oh, and one last thing, guys, where you can reach Olga, which is very, very important. You can reach her at honestbusiness.com. Now that's ONESTBUSINESS.com, and her company honestnetwork.com. ONESTNETWORK. She's also available on social media at Onest Business. So with that said, amazing. Again, amazing intro. This is what I love about the modern day level of entrepreneurship and us being able to collaborate and getting to know people through podcasting, because we just have access to so many amazing people and with such dynamic backgrounds. And you obviously fall very much into that category. So Olga, with that being said, as you know, most people want to make, they want to have a connection with other folks. And we all love stories, right? Because in those stories is where we make those emotional connections with other people to say, hey, that's somebody who gets where I'm at, right? Or has shared similar experiences or experiences that inspire us to take action, things along those lines. So with that said, I would love for you to share with the audience, a little bit of the backstory behind just your amazingly dynamic background.
Well, thank you. And once again, and so I was born in the Ukraine, and now we know about Ukraine, unfortunately, due to those horrific circumstances. But I was born in a great family, very academic oriented, professors, teachers, anybody, deans of universities and so on. And my mom, when she was pregnant, she said, whoever I'm going to have is going to be a ballroom dancer. And that's just such a thing that I tapped into. And so I grew up, I was a little tomboy. And so when I was 6 or 7, my mom said, well, we have to do something girly. So let's start with ballroom dancing. Long story short, I became a professional dancer, which is in Europe considered an athlete. And I then moved to Germany at the age of 13 and became world champion and won Grand Slams and national champion. And all of that continued for 9 years. And then I thought, I have something more in me. I really would love to do something where I could study, where I could build some things. I was really into, reading all about the Kennedys and Eleanor Roosevelt and like Audrey Hepburn. And I thought, UN is so fantastic. I want to end up at UN. And, people look at me, they're like, athlete, dancer, UN, huh? What? And
Mm.
so I started studying in the Netherlands, and they had the dual degree where you could choose, well, the top 3 students could choose a university that they partnered with. I ended up being in the United States. And then I came to New York from North Carolina, which was that partner university, and started with an internship and ended up at UN. And what is relatable in this story is that, first and foremost, people usually, we grow up in families, if we're blessed to have families and our parents who love us the most, they really plan the life for us that they think is secure. You should follow this, you should follow that, you will be the pride, of our family. And so it takes a lot of guts to say, no, I want to do this, or I want to do that. And even if people already decided that you fit in a certain mold, you're an athlete, or you're at the UN, you're this, you're that. And if you feel like you have something within you, and I usually say the purpose and calling comes with a little, ding dong that kind of shows up in your head and says, why wouldn't you try this? Why wouldn't you try that? We ignore it because we really are concentrated on all those things and tasks that we have to fulfill every single day, and things and people we'd have to take care of, that we neglect it. But if you follow it, you can actually explore your life and end up in different places and really live the life to the fullest, as cliche as it sounds. But after UN, my dream is there. I'm at the UN, I'm at the Security Council. It was the whole thing with Libya at that point, with Gaddafi and wars. And I wrote a big work how UN could change and be more efficient and so on. I presented it to the General Assembly, and they said, do you really want to change UN? The higher you climb, like on a tree, if you would climb a tree, the less you should move because you can fall easily. And I thought, no, if I will change my spirit, if I will change as a person, I will never be able to come back to what I was initially, what I would, thought to be. And that was kind of the breaking point where I thought, my dad has always been an entrepreneur, aside from everybody else who is on the academic side. I really want to do something where I'm responsible, and as they say, entrepreneurs, we choose 24/7 work instead of 9 to 5 job and security, right? And I thought I want to do something different. And so I stepped out and actually by accident ended up at the Madison Square Garden because I had the website that kind of listed all my achievements as an athlete. And literally few weeks after I left UN, I get a call from the manager of the Madison Square Garden who said, we're looking for somebody to kind of revamp and produce some entertainment for halftime, WNBA, NBA. I thought, what's NBA? I'm European. I don't know what that is, And they're like, that's basketball. Why are you crazy? So long story short, 3 weeks later, that was the first production, the first show that I gathered 38 people who never danced before. And my whole idea was to promote this inclusion and sort of people who could go to the game, but also feel like they're part of it, but they could also experience performing and being in front of people and kind of really have this life-changing experience by, kind of like conquering their fears. And so this kind of established into a pro-am production. So we're professionals and amateurs, and it was based on dance, but I expanded then to Washington, D.C., to Atlanta, to Miami. It expanded also to Barclays Center in New York. So it was a big thing. And we went beyond dance and everything. So this was a great opportunity. And then COVID happened. And then, you kind of have to shift. You can't be among people. You can't really hope to go back because it will be different and people will be, fearful. And then BA went into the bubble. So that didn't really work. And I started streaming different things, and I organized a fundraiser that was for 12 hours. And I got performers, singers, and speakers from all over the world, actually 5 continents. And they performed to raise money for NAACP, which was for the Black Lives Matter movement. I called it Artists for Justice. Then I continued with a long marathon for US veterans and then Stop Asian Hate and whatnot. And so we had about 1.6 million people watching live. And I realized that people are so eager to have this mindful entertainment that is realistic, where people feel seen, that they feel understood, they feel heard. They're not just entertained mindlessly, right? Or watch reality shows or unrelatable stars. So that was kind of initial thought behind Onest Network. But you asked me about the relatable and moments, and I think just owning your thoughts and owning your desires and acting upon them regardless to what anybody says, I think it's very important, especially now when people lost jobs or feel like the shift is needed. Follow your own spirit, of course. Plan, right? Don't be mindlessly crazy, but allow yourself to dream.
Well, that is an amazing story, and kudos to you. I mean, when you talk about UN, Madison Square Garden, Barclays Center, high level events, and participating at such a very high level, that is what they call rare air, right? Which is really commendable to you, because it boils down to look, from my perspective, and this isn't about me, but my background was different, but in the sense of the overall understanding of having to take ownership of our life, and recognizing that I call it living without a net, right? Living without a safety net, and recognizing that that safety net doesn't even exist anyway. It's mindset, it's conditioning. These are all things that we were taught, and it's not good, bad. It's not a value judgment. It's just the nature of how culture and society evolves for perceived stability. And again, we can go into some more of the deeper dive on where that all leads, but ultimately it's the power of the individual. It's the power of the individual who takes, I call it, putting that stake in the ground and saying, no, this is the way it speaks to me. And I always talk to folks about, when you're able to be grounded in your belief, I said, you can literally physically feel it in your body, because when you're speaking and you're standing, you feel connected to the whole, to the ground, to the spirit. So you're in unity and in alignment, and that's so critical. So I think that there's a lot of relatability, no matter where we come from or where we ultimately kind of have touchstones and touch points throughout our career, where those who seek those types of benefits and living in that space can achieve that with the right type of effort and mindset. And I always like to tell folks, that doesn't mean you're gonna every day. I always say every day is not a rose garden. There's gonna be days like we all have where you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm done. But it's a matter of, we say, as long you can quit, that's fine, as long as you show up again tomorrow. You're right. I mean, so that's how it kind of goes through that process. So, in your vision of the Onest Network, right? I mean, it's very bold. Now, of course, we have limited time to get in so much of the details to understand how you logistically were able to put all this together. If you can share with the audience, like, how it is that obviously you have this now, and who are the people who you would want to connect with? What is the value offering that that the Onest Network provides, where and who is that optimal person or company who you feel you can provide the most value to?
So we split the value between three sides, right? And I will start with the audience first. So first of all, people don't pay to watch anything, but the network's idea, or the idea behind the Onest Network, is regardless when you tune in, I want you to feel like you're not wasting your time. And also, this is the network that targets souls, right? We want to educate, we want to enlighten somebody's soul instead of brainwashing them. Because if you think about entertainment, it's really driven by fear. It's driven by excitement. Everything is breaking news. It's very political. It's very divisive too. Because see, this idea of divide and conquer, well, that has been the basics of politics, right? But where we ended up with is that we work from home, there's COVID, whatever, but it's also an election, right? That's what we experienced the past few years. And so if your neighbor thinks differently or watches Fox News and I watch CNN, or I watch Fox and they watch CNN, there would be an idea driven to us and really implanted into our brains, right? Into our actions, ultimately, that we have to hate our neighbor because they think differently. They want a mask. I don't want a mask, and vice versa, right? So what if there was a platform where we could actually have a conversation, where we would promote common sense, where we could make our own opinion? You presented facts from different sides, you presented opinions, and now it's your time to make up your mind. And really having the idea of I'm actually owning my actions, I'm owning my own physical health, emotional health, because I'm deciding what I should be fearful of or not fearful of. So for instance, we only feature 10 different categories, meaning 10 different topics, from health to business to fashion to politics to news. And we feature only 3 creators per different, and I call content creators actually those people who create shows. And we feature that only 3 people per niche for the consecutive 2 months. So people get to know this person. If they want to keep, watching and we see the performance, we continue working with those creators, or we can exchange and whatnot. And the idea is also for people to be presented that selective entertainment, because what we love from in cable television, right, idea is that everything is high quality, right? Whether you like a program or you don't like the program, it's a high quality program. You understand what you're watching and what that is. What happened with the oversaturation of the market is that on YouTube and Hulu and Netflix, you're presented everything. And so it takes your time on YouTube to find that creator that actually makes sense, right? So we want to waste less of somebody's time. We want to present the niches that people are interested in. They can watch live. We have sort of the idea of television, right? Because you have a network, you have a channel, and different programs are premiering at different times. You can also watch on demand. And so this is the idea for viewers. We also have live stream events. Like for instance, we're kicking off the month of July with a big global business mastermind conference. It's called Limitless. And so we invited the best business gurus and people to teach about business and mindset and marketing. And we also allow, because I'm from Ukraine, my parents are from Ukraine, we're also donating our partial profits to Ukraine. We invite people from Ukraine to tune in and watch it. And then this conference will be also available to rewatch the day after and then to purchase for people. Now, when we transition in terms of creators, my point was, as somebody who created content, I produced entertainment, right? What I hate the most is the word exposure, because you can't pay your bills with exposure, right? And this has been everywhere in sports and anything. Oh, can you speak here? It's such a great exposure for you. No, I actually want to see stats. What am I investing in? What does it bring me? And what is the limits to my earnings? And so the idea is to get to the network like NBC, CNN, ABC. It's nearly too impossible right now, because even the series Friends that I learned English from and that are very famous, right? It took years for them by accident to have to get on air just because something was canceled on NBC that night, right? So if you're not Oprah or you're a protege of somebody, you're not getting there. Now, to get on Netflix, same sort of story. They're aiming for big names, for big followings, and so on. What you can do is post on YouTube. And then what? You're going to earn your dollar per 10,000 views. And then the next step will happen. YouTube will start limit your views because you will be too costly. So what we do is, for our content creators, they get on the platform. We offer them airtime that they can purchase or they can sign up with. There's also bonus structure where they can even get for free on the network based on their performance. And we give them up to 40 minutes a month, split in different parts, for free advertising. So this is the network for content creators who are entrepreneurs, who don't think, well, I'm going to just feature my content, sit and wait until the Queen Elizabeth is calling me from London and invites me for tea. So it's for those who really want to reach out to sponsors, get the ads on air, have product placements, featured interviews, and whatnot. And so those 40 minutes of free advertising, we don't take any percentage from their earnings. We have suggested rates that people can start with, and we already have people who sold out their ads already for July and made already $16,000 for July. So this is just a start. And the idea is not to take any percentage from people's advertising, so we don't limit anybody's earnings. If you produce quality content, if you are a kind professional person and you want to work, do your thing, because we are a streaming platform with the idea of choosing and really curating content like a television network would do. Now, when we talk about sponsors, the difference that we offer is, and yesterday actually was the big news. Netflix announced that they're going to do reduced monthly fee, but they will feature commercials. I'm not sure who wants to watch commercials on Netflix, since we used not to watching commercials. Like, is it fair to waste our time to watch Bridgerton, not for 8 hours, but for 16, just because I'm going to pay $4 less, right? So you value my extra time in $4, kind of weird, but the idea is to also provide the stats and analytics to our sponsors. So we have, because we are premiering on 4 different apps right away, we have notifications that are sent out when the premiere is happening. And for instance, our content creator works, let's say, with some company XYZ, and during that premiere, they offer a sale or a special. People get notifications, they click on them, and we present all the stats to the sponsors as well. So it's not like buying a billboard or like buying an ad on NBC and you never know who acted upon it. So providing stats, that's for the ads.
So Olga, this is amazing. So I would say that's a lot of amazing information, and you obviously have thought through to a very high level the analytics of how this all works. So for the folks who are listening, what would we say would be like, what are some of the most frequently asked questions that you would get, say, from somebody who would be a content provider, so that they can understand like some of the things that I think of initially is, okay, do I have to bring my own audience? How am I going to be, some of the things that we call them in sales, what are how do you preemptively handle the objection, so to speak, with some answers so that people can say, oh, okay, this checks off the boxes on where I'm at, and this is something that I would want to look into further.
Right. So the first thing is copyright. People say, do you own my content when I present it? Do I have to quit YouTube? Do I have to quit my podcast? Do I have to quit doing anything else? And that's where we are different. We don't own anybody's content. We're not buying anybody's content. What we reserve is the exclusivity right to present your content for those 2 months that you presented here. For instance, somebody signed with us for July and August, those episodes, and they do 4 episodes a month for 30 minutes each. So those episodes are only available on our platform July, August. Then they're gone. You can do it whatever you want to do with them. We don't own them. We just have that right to present it only there. Then, and people can continue doing their YouTubes, their podcasts, monetize, work with the brands, do whatever you want to do. So we want to just present a new platform where you can show and be shown to more people at the same time, since we have partnerships with Roku TV and Fire TV to push our app when it premieres, pretty much our channel, right? For the first time. And so people can really reach bigger market and within their niche and present that as an additional service, so to say, to their sponsors as well. Another question what we get is competition, and that's where it comes in, why we feature only 2 to 3 content creators at a time, because we don't want them to compete, and we don't want them to compete for a specific sponsor. And we have priority also airtime option as well. So for instance, if a content creator comes in and says, well, I've been really successful on YouTube, I have XYZ number of viewers and subscribers, but I'm stagnating and I can't really sell more ads because also politically speaking, some areas are now cut off from YouTube and whatnot. I really want to do something more. And so, or try a different route when it comes to creativity. Your YouTube works really well, but you want to do something different. You don't want to disturb your YouTube. You want to try something. So that would be a great option there as well. So, really freedom in creativity, that's what people are asking. No competition, and yeah, and no buyout in terms of content.
I see. So what would you say, like if you had to kind of share with the audience who the ideal client would be for you, where they stand with respect to the level of their business, their pre-existing followers, who would be a prime candidate where, they come into your inbox, you talk to them and you're like, you check off every box.
In terms of content creators,
as far as content creators, right? Because
okay.
I would imagine the audience is one that you are going to, we can talk about that.
Right.
But I mean, we can probably talk about that next. But I guess ultimately from a content creator standpoint, who would be someone who, like I said, checks off all the boxes? And then we can talk about, who is it? I mean, as far as how is it that you guys are going through the process of getting, people like to watch? But we can first and foremost, I guess, who, like I said, who are the best people for you or companies?
Well, it's people who do have enough content, first and foremost, who are producing content, who have series that they are established, or they are starting something new, but they know they can produce up to 2 hours of content a month, which sounds really, easy until you start doing it, right? Because it has to be really cool. And then also those who want to turn their creation or their creative process into a business that will grow, that will attract sponsors, that they're looking to really run a business where they're airing their content, they're getting their analytics, they're getting their stats, and they're reaching out to sponsors, establishing their relationships, and are charging according to their performance.
So, for example, if I mean, and so would it be fair to say, so say someone, because you are a market disruptor. When I hear,
Yes.
it's a market disruptive model. So,
yeah.
if someone is, say, for example, like you said, consistently producing content, say on Instagram or YouTube, and they feel like, you know what, this is really not going anywhere near the way I would hoped. These algorithms, I'm done trying to, play a fortune teller. I want to be something that's more consistent. So now, would that be a fair assessment of someone who be a good,
Yeah, sure. And we have out of 3 creators per niche, we have one that is mostly, let's say, one space is for those who have million plus subscribers. And then 2 are grown, right? The rising stars, so to speak. So what happens here? We also actually, if you want to get deeper into promotional part, we also have cross promotion within the network. So for instance, we have the most successful creator in the niche. Then you have 2 content creators with less following. And so they will be, for instance, going live on social media. They're going to actually benefit from each other's following.
I understand.
Also,
sure.
Everybody benefits from the following within the other 9 niches, because somebody who likes cooking may also would love learn about business from you, right? So you actually connect different niches that are very, related to those content creators. And of course, those who have a lot of subscribers and are joining our network, they get free airtime because they bring subscribers, right? Or they bring viewers, so to speak, which everybody can benefit from. So the point of having mutual respect is really important here, because I feel exactly what you mentioned, with algorithms, with rules, with conditions. You post something on YouTube, they own your content, like it's written really little until you start, reposting it somewhere. So that's what we want to avoid.
Yeah, because I think the time is ripe, and you're another example of, like I said, a market disruptor where there is, I believe, a collective level of I'm not going to use the word frustration, but a collective level of exhaustion for most of us who kind of understand that the corporate model that was driving a lot of these outlets are really now so disconnected from allowing their real growth opportunities to occur in a more organic way. It becomes less and less. So we need market leaders like you who are willing to, put it out there and take the risk and have the vision to not only cast the vision, but also have the ability to execute. Because I always tell folks, when I coach and mentor people, I'm like, the idea is the easy part.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's about the plan, and then the execution, and then the funding, and bringing in the people in to be able to help you perform these tasks and be able to have the ability to, I say anyone can do a one and doneer. If you need to be able to produce consistent results over the long term, because you have to respect people's time who are looking to invest their time and money and their energy and their emotional energy into, something that, we offer, or you offer in the state. So
but
this is
also a little point to make. Content creation, it's a full-time job, as you know, right? And so really thinking that let me create YouTube series, or let me create a podcast and hope somebody will watch it, and hope somebody will tune in and share it, and please like it, please follow me, please share. You've done such an incredible job, and you're hoping to get paid for it. And that's the tricky part. That's the hurtful part,
right.
and that's where
You make a great
frustration
point.
comes from.
I saw a post today. I'm very much involved in music. Again, it's for another conversation, but there was a musician who posted in one of the groups today that at the end of the day, they're in a situation where they deserve to be paid for their services. They deserve,
Yes.
and they say, we don't, like you said, we don't need exposure. We're bringing people to you, but we've put our blood, sweat, and tears into this craft to bring a service that is finely tuned, and to just have people just completely discount it or just they said hope against hope. There was maybe a time before, let's say, Facebook went public, where you did have a chance of getting some organic reach. Those days are really, 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 really limited at this point.
Right.
So this is really cool stuff. So what I would like to do is we kind of wrap up here is to ask you if you could share with the audience, some benchmarks, some dates, some ways that they're going to be able to see your work in action, and where they can be able to say, okay, wow, this is something that relates to, and here's how, and then how to get in touch with you.
Okay, so for content creators, go to onestnetwork.com or /creators. It's direct page. Read everything, reach out. You can fill out the intake form. It's very simple, just giving some information about you. Just be as honest as possible, because we see the real results. And if you have 5 followers, but you're brilliant and you deserve to be in the spotlight, so be it. And we schedule a discovery call and we talk to you. If you're a content creator who has a big following, then you can reach out to us. It's also onestnetwork.com /VIP. So we can talk to you how you can get free of charge to the network. You can also read all the information there. You can pick the niche that applies to your content, and we can take it from there. I would love to have you on the Honest Conversations podcast. I reach out to you. I hope we can book something.
I would love it.
So
I'm probably one of those folks. I mean, we didn't really share much about my story, but I have a very interesting background that is very unique, because I was like you in the sense of very much. I mean, when I went to law school, I was an accounting degree. I mean, I don't want to bore you right now, but the reality is that I was somebody, and still to this day, takes the bold moves and takes the risk. And I say I have the victories and the scars to prove it. It's been an interesting journey up to this point. So I would absolutely love it. I mean, to do that. So we can obviously talk offline on that, and you can tell more. But I think this is great. So one more time, where people can get a hold of you.
Yes.
And then we're going to, we'll move on to hopefully the next time we get a chance to collaborate together.
Absolutely. So onestnetwork.com, for creators of any kind, for viewers, we will be premiering July 1st. We're going to have what I call Limitless Conference there on July 9th. But if you go to honestnetwork.com, you can also click and become Honest Expert, meaning you get just a little questionnaire to answer about your priorities, what you like watching, and we will have that email where you will get the information how to get some bonuses and freebies and get invited to some fun recordings and shows. Yeah, so that's it, honestnetwork.com.
Guys, this has been, Olga, amazing. You are you're a firecracker.
I'm trying.
My wife is, I always kid around because my wife is, she's she's small in stature, but man, I say she's a firecracker, and you remind me a lot of her. And so, as far as just people who, you're passionate, you get it done, and you got guts and determination and grit, which is just awesome. So everybody,
Thank
so
you
if you're
so much.
watching, it's Olga Nesterova. It's the Onest Network. She's got some amazing things planned. Olga is really leading the curve. So please reach out to her. And if you find this podcast interesting, insightful, I ask you to share it, at least share it with 2, 3, 4 people. It's all about that organic build, which is so important. And those shares are just so meaningful to us because we are very passionate people who really lead with the idea of helping other folks succeed in their business, whether it's by providing a network or providing one-on-one coaching. The reality is, I think so many of us as entrepreneurs lead with our heart to try and really benefit people's lives in an interesting way. So again, my name is Mike Caluzzi. We are ProTips to Grow Your Biz podcast. You can find us obviously on YouTube and social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, what have you. If you're watching this, you already kind of know where you're going to be able to find me, but this will be posted on all those types of platforms. So I want to thank everybody for taking the time. Olga, I want to thank you for taking the time today. And guys, please check out Olga's site because it's really amazing stuff that she's up to. So everybody, till the next time, have a great day.